Most of us who struggle with confidence, with self image, with people pleasing, with self love, we do not struggle with these things because something is wrong with us. The reason why we struggle with these things is because we were never truly shown who we are. See, early on, if you were criticized, ignored, compared, or forced to grow up too fast, you didn't learn confidence. You learned how to survive. You learned to read the room instead of expressing yourself. You learned to protect your feelings instead of understanding them. You learn to earn love instead of expecting it. So before we can talk about healing, before we can get to the healing, we must first understand how our brain works, how we got where we are today, why we struggle with the things we struggle with today. Because you are not a problem. You are a response to what shaped you. In this video, I'm going to share with you why we are the way that we are, why we struggle with the things that we struggle with today. By the end of this video, if you are someone who struggles with self-esteem, with people-pleasing, with self-image, you're going to start to see yourself from a different point of view. Here's what's fascinating. Between birth and the age 7, our brain is like wet cement. Anything that falls on it leaves an imprint. We didn't learn language. We learned how safe it was to have emotions, how lovable we are, whether love has condition, whether mistake leads to danger, whether our needs matters. Children don't say my mom is emotionally unavailable. They say something must be wrong with me. Children don't say my family was struggling. They say I better shrink to survive. Children don't say their behavior was about their own wounds. They say if I were better, they would treat me better. And the thing is, the brain doesn't forget the lesson. It grows around it. This is probably the first time we're seeing each other. But I want you to play along. I want you to come along on this section so we can do it together. If you can grab a piece of paper with a pen and put it beside you, that would be great. If you can't, it's okay. You can pause this video and go on your notes app on your phone and write down. So I'm basically going to give you an example of things that we had to go through early on and how they can manifest in things that we struggle with today without us even realizing this is where it began. So if I don't say something that you were actually going through, that's okay. You can pause this video and give yourself 2 minutes, 1 minute to think about what you're struggling with today. It doesn't have to be perfect. It can be people pleasing. It can be speaking up. Just put it on that piece of paper or just write it down. If you had to earn love, it doesn't have to be love in general, but if you remember growing up, if things were just you have to earn it, they did not come easily. They did not come, like it wasn't something that was natural, right? You had to earn your way there. You will see now you chase or you overachieve. If abandonment was familiar, you will see it's either you get attached fast or you detach fast. If unpredictability was familiar, you will see now you overthink. If you were not allowed to speak, if you were silenced, you will see now speaking up is hard. If your feelings were ignored, if you were not allowed to go to your parents and tell them this is how you're feeling, this is how they did to you, this is how it's what you're feeling, you will see now you also ignored your feelings. This is probably hard, but our nervous system is not dramatic, it's loyal. It keeps us living in the story we learn. Here's something that I've learned that makes so much sense now, especially if you're someone who's struggling with people pleasing like I was. A child who was never nurtured learned to nurture others but never themselves. Please, if you struggle with people pleasing, can you let me know in the comments if you can relate to this? Because, wow. So now with what you wrote, I want you to put some time aside. You can pause this video right now or you can do it at the end. But I want you to try to reflect on how you got there. For example, if you struggle with people pleasing, I want you to ask yourself, why do I people please? What makes me people please? How did I come up with this, right? How was my childhood? How was I treated? I want you to try to reflect. I want you to go back to that little child. How was she treated? Because once you learn how you come up with that, the rest will make sense. Many adults quietly hate themselves for behaviors that were created in environments they never choose. We judge ourselves today for shutting down emotionally, for staying too long, for leaving too quickly, for being too guarded, for being too soft, for caring too much, for trusting no one, for trusting too much. But these are not flaws. They're a solution created by the version of us who just wanted to make it to tomorrow. You didn't ruin your life. You protected yourself. And the thing is, the brain remembers protection long after the danger is gone. If you struggle with shame, if you're someone who maybe regrets doing something that now you are not happy with, right? I want you to know that when we make decisions, we are making the decision based on the knowledge that we have. So if you did something 2 weeks ago, a month ago that now you regret, just know that that version of you made that decision based on the knowledge that they have. And if you struggle with shame, I used to struggle with shame. And when I learned that the reason why I was struggling with shame is because of how one of my parents used to treat me, right? And it would hurt more because I'm like, to me, parents are supposed to be like a protector, right? And when they hurt you in a way that like it's really hard to look at yourself, it was really hard for me to look at myself in the mirror, right? And I used to struggle a lot with confidence because that parents would look at me in my eyes and tell me I'm ugly. That parents would let me sleep outside in the balcony because I made a simple mistake. That parents would leave me there struggle when they could have helped me, when they could have told me what to do. So if you struggle with shame, I want you to know that you're not alone, and it gets better. Once you learn that the reason why you act the way you do today, the reason why you are the way you are today, it's not because you woke up today and you're like, okay, I don't like myself. No, it's because there is a history, there is something that happens that broke your heart or that was that hurts so much that it is hard for you to look at yourself, right? But I want you to know that it gets better. Making a video, looking at myself in the mirror, like I'm making this video right now, every day when I do this, and I'm just like, wow, I used to hate myself. It's not even that I thought like my nose was ugly, my eyes was ugly. No, I just had shame because when that parents used to look at me in my eyes and tell me you're so ugly, used to tell me that I wish you were never born. When I used to look at myself in the mirror, I would have those flashbacks. I would have those insults, everything that used to tell me in my eyes, and I did not want to go through those experiences again. But I want you to know that if you did something that you regret, just know that version of you made that decision with the knowledge that they have. You have to be kind with yourself. You have to treat yourself as how you wanted our parents to treat you. Healing doesn't start with fixing yourself. It starts with observing yourself with compassion, not judgment. Coming from someone who wanted to fix themselves. Now that I'm thinking about it, it is so funny, but when I started my healing journey, I wanted to like come off of my body, take up my heart, take up everything that I was struggling with and replace it with the perfect version of myself because there were just a lot. Like I did not want to like get triggered. I talked about how I hated being triggered, but I learned that Healing isn't about fixing yourself. It's about observing yourself. It's about having compassion with yourself. It's about seeing yourself struggling and still accepting yourself and being with yourself in those uncomfortable moments. When you observe yourself acting in a way that you don't recognize, you don't love, you should be able to ask yourself, what belief did this behavior come from? Who taught me this? Where did I learn I needed to be small? Who made me feel unsafe being me? If you struggle with self-image, with self-confidence, with self-esteem, you should be able to ask yourself, what would I do differently if I believed I was enough? And after you finish journaling, I want you to try every day adding everything you wrote down in that piece of paper. You're not going to get everything right on the first try, but try adding little by little. Because the most important thing, you can't change a pattern you're still blaming yourself for. Understanding is the doorway to transformation. Let's talk about reparenting. I love reparenting. It is my favorite tool that I use in myself because you get to see how much you love yourself. You get to see how much you care for yourself. But here's the thing. Reparenting is not about blaming your parents forever. It's about giving yourself what you didn't receive back then. Yes, your parents did you wrong. Yes, it hurts. But if you hold resentment, if you hold grudges towards them, it's like drinking poison and thinking it will kill them, but it's killing you, right? Because when you hold resentment, when you are in the lowest frequency, resentment and forgiveness, you are not doing yourself any better. It's like you're healing. It's like taking a step back but going back because those lower frequency keeps you in the lowest frequency. I hope that makes sense. But you should be able to forgive your parents because at the end of the day, this is your life. What they did to you, you can't go back in the past trying to change it. You can cut ties with them and don't talk to them forever, but forgive them and let them go and let God take care of what they did to you. But forgive them and then give yourself what you didn't receive back then. Give yourself what they didn't give you. So maybe it's validation, patience, unconditional love, reassurance. Give that to yourself. Try to see what you seek today because the way we act says so much about what we need, right? If you are desperate about being in a relationship, it's not really about being in a relationship. It's about you getting what the relationship will give you, those compliments, those reassurance, those validation, right? So try to be aware of yourself and see, okay, what did I not get from my parents? What did I not get from these parents? Maybe it's someone who hurt you, right? But you really loved how they were treating you. Try to look at the way you act and give yourself and reparent yourself. Give yourself what you didn't get back then. Knowing better doesn't always mean doing better. When you've experienced trauma, our brain chooses what's familiar over what's unknown. So you might be adding these new tools to your daily life. Just know that if it gets hard where like you keep going back to the same thing, be gentle with yourself. Because our brain choose what's familiar over what's unknown, right? If you were a people pleaser and now you're trying to make decisions, you're trying to speak up, you will see that the first time you try, you would tend to go back to people pleasing. Why? Because your brain is trying to keep you safe. Your brain knows that in the past you had to people please to be safe. You had to say yes when you wanted to say no. So be gentle with yourself. When shame says you should be over this now, reparenting says, of course, I see you struggle, but we're gonna get over this. When your old identity tries to come back and tell you you're too much, you're doing too much, reparenting says you're never too much. We're going to get over this. We're going to be able to speak up. It might be hard. It might seem fake at first because this is the first time we're actually being who we want to be, but we will get over this. When fear says, don't speak, it's not safe, reparenting says, you are safe. We can speak now. The goal isn't to fight who you are, it's to understand where it came from. I hope this video was able to help you. Your story matters more than you think. Be safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.